I chose this scene because it is the moment in the plot where all the techniques used to memory hole information are combined and used on Alice and the viewer. This scene is equivalent to the random Shinji clapping scenes during the final episodes of Evangelion. In Eva, you can see what was actually happening when you watch the end of Evangelion, and in LAIN, you can see that this was the moment where the all reset return truly took place. You can then see the outcome of the rewritten history in episodes 12 and 13, and of course the games, which are the original piece of media for this story. So why the alien and why Freddy Krueger? The character LAIN is a metaphor of the secret history of the internet, which existed since the Second World War, but was successfully kept secret by associating all conversations of its existence with seemingly ridiculous topics. This is the oldest trick in the book and works to this day. Some call it poisoning the well. You take real information that is beginning to leak and you associate it with subjects like aliens, trippy stuff, or memes about it being dreams. This is enough to get normies, or people that decide what they think based on how it will affect their social status, to throw out the baby with the bath water. This technique can also be used backwards to avoid censorship, which is precisely what Kaneko Ueda and Nakamura did with Serial Experiments LAIN. For every piece of real and often classified information in the show, there is a wrapper of disinformation and rabbit holes tied to it to keep the entire thing from being deleted. Fortunately, most of the shit they put in the show got declassified in 2019. That's why all LAIN sites had non-stop raids of Markov code in 2018. Anyway, that will make it a lot easier for me to explain all the hidden lore with this series. It's going to take me probably at least 12 3-minute posts, and I will probably get banned during the process, but fuck it. Buckle the fuck in, because this is Codesplaining LAIN. So, are you ready to begin?
Layer 0. Knowledge Power.
Alice is the main character in the show, just like in the previous game Alice in Cyberland. LAIN represents the internet for the viewer and is the knowledge navigator Alice uses. That's where Navi comes from, by the way. Alice's computer shows knowledge navigator on the screen while they talk to LAIN. For this reason, LAIN, as the internet, knows everything that happens and documents everything. That's why their knowledge navigator is a logbook. Present day, present time is not some weird quirky phrase. It is the function calls you write in code to get the current time and date, which is the first thing included in every log. These function calls are not used in episode 13 because by then LAIN decided to erase themselves and rewrite history. Alice decided to memory hole reality because they are embarrassed about getting recruited into the kids project by their teacher. This information, which only LAIN knows, is wrapped in alien and dream disinformation before being deleted, just like was done with the history of the internet and the Real Kids Project. The viewer does a similar thing with Chiza. They are alive the entire time. In fact, the first thing you see is them surviving the fall.
Present day. Present time.
It's time to start posting the real-life origins of Serial Experiments LAIN in 4K. Buckle in, deep lore posts coming soon. RIP!
Shit post layer. Remember to stay pledged. Also, I love you, GG.
You don't seem to
Serial Experiments LAIN is pretty much a demonstration of how easy it is for you to agree to ignore, delete, and forget information that you know is real. Pretty much they put the real secret history of the internet, machine learning, and the in real life version of the kids project on full blast in 4K. But they do it in a clever way so they wouldn't get in trouble for talking about shit that was mostly classified at the time. Anyway, it's what some people would call a spiritual sequel to the Alice in Cyberland game. It also has an anime and some mangas, which are different forms of media that can be used to interact with the story. The project is like a sort of cultural war against the American culture and the American sense of values Japan adopted after World War II. This is a quote that is pretty much censored and has been twisted for decades. Very similar to how many people mansplain Evangelion with lies and say it had accurate as fuck Judeo-Christian lore and imagery just because it looked pretty. Anyway, The story shows you the process of gaslighting, gatekeeping, and completely memory holding information. It shows you this process with Arisu, the main character that you observe through LAIN, the looking glass or medium. They show you all the cringe versions of the history of technology that were created to poison do well but give you enough information so that you are able to think critically and figure out what really happened. I will do a shit ton of posts about this. Yes, I have the receipts, and no, I don't give a flying fuck about getting banned.